Welcome, everyone, to the Contact Center Perspectives podcast. I'm Steve McDonald, your host, and today we have on Madelene Motin. Now, Madelene, you're the head of customer service at Stronger. And for years, you've been building up teams, customer service teams, and you've actually built one of the most renowned customer service teams in Sweden. And as we get through and we start talking more on the podcast today, I think everybody's going to start to understand why. But you do a really good job of articulating how you can, as a customer service organization, become not only the highest voice of authority in the business, because you represent the customer, you're connected to the customer more than anybody else is, and at the same time, how you can provide insights that actually drive results, drive impact all the way down through bottom line revenue. So I want to get right into this, but I just want to give you a chance just to expand a little bit on that introduction about what you're doing now and your experience.
So as you said, I've been working in customer service for 8 years, starting in one company first, where I was working in over 7 years. We started as a customer representative, basically working and talking to customers and so on, but then starting to get other roles, working a lot with educating the team and how we should work with the customer to give the best service. And then also worked a lot with how customer service are important for the whole company and how our voice should be heard in the whole company, and also putting up processes about this so that the things we say actually are stuff that people take action on, and we could see results in both the sales and so on, which is something all wants to work through.
It's such the opposite end of the spectrum. There's this general perception in the industry as contact centers as cost centers. What are the biggest overhead costs in the business? Is necessary evil. And what you're talking about is the direct opposite of that. So what I wanted to do is, first off, a little bit talk about how do we get this feedback? How do we get this insights? What's the process? We all understand that you're talking to customers every day, front line. Yeah. But how does that process happen?
So first company I worked in, we worked a lot with having meetings and talk through what have we got from the customer, what feedback has we got, what can we do to improve. And we sat down people from different departments in the company and talked about the feedback that we have got and what should we take action on now, what is important. Not everything is important, but you have to prioritize. What can we do now? What should we focus on, and so on. So for example, we had one thing where we saw that our SEO and our search on the homepage wasn't the best. Our category that we had wasn't the best. Customer, we felt like when we got contact with customer, they had hard to find the products they wanted. So we sat down and started a project about how can we optimize the search and how can we optimize the categorizing on the homepage to make it easier for the customers. And this was something my team and a couple from customer service worked a lot with. We actually were the ones deciding all the categories that we should have. We helped out with the wording because we know what words the customer wants to search on and how they actually are spelling it when they spell it wrong. So we put in everything to make it easier for the customer to navigate around our product. And we did basically everything about this. And then we just gave it over to e-commerce to put it in on the homepage. So this was one of the projects that we worked with, and we really saw an increase in the search for the customers. Some wording were up to like 40% higher search rate and stuff like that after doing this, because we got the feedback from customer, we talked about it in the company, and we took action on it. So that was one of the projects, for example, that we were involved with and worked with a lot.
You were modest in how we got 40% increase in category searches. You're an e-commerce company. Tell us what that means when somebody who increased search on the site. What was the internal conversation after you increased search at such a dramatic amount in terms of how that impacted sales, how it impacted revenues?
So we could really see both, of course, a higher rate when we pop up better on Google, for example, with customer searching, which increased the sales because they come directly into our site instead of other competitions out there. And we also saw, with us having contact with the customers, we also saw that they actually found the product directly and wanted more like guidance about how to use it rather than to how do I find this? Or can you link me this product? Or I'm searching for this, but I can't find it. So we also saw a lot of customers actually come back and say, I've looked at this product. How should I use it? Or can it work for me? Or so on, which also helped us increase the sales because then we could actually give them guidance about the products and how they should work and use it and give them some other sales products that they could work together with this one rather than to help out customer just finding the products. So we could also see increase in the sales with this.
So just to recap, you're taking this insights, you're developing an entire recommendation on how, based on spellings, based on what they're looking for, how you're going to drive categorization, how you can search on the site, how search is coming up online. So you're getting more sales because people are finding more product, the product they're looking for. At a second level, you're increasing sales because you're actually acting as a consultant and people that are asking questions about, should I be using this? And I want to know some more questions about this. So you're actually an accelerant within the sales process at the same time. How well do you think, or what do you think is the perception in the industry versus what you're talking about, which makes perfect sense, but you've got to execute extremely well. But the difference in the perception of a contact center as a sales consultant and being seen that way, as a product consultant being seen that way, marketing consultant, you're helping out with SEO and searches and the way that people are thinking about the product. What do you think is the industry perception of the role of the contact center as a consultant across the board like that? Is that something that's prevalent or is that kind of lost in most companies?
I could say it can actually be lost in some companies because I think you need to really I am working as head of customer service. That is my role. And I'm really good at what I'm doing, but I also have insights to give in other parts. And even if you are oh, I'm the head of e-commerce, or I'm the head of SEO or whatever, you need to see that other people has abilities that can help you build the company and grow it from the inside. So you don't have to stick in, okay, this is my role, this is what I'm doing. You need to open up, listen in, and share knowledge, because that is the best way to build up the company. And I think that is something that's in some companies can be quite hard, that they are stuck in, okay, I'm working customer service, that's what I'm doing. And they are in that role, not maybe being able to impact that much. So I think a lot of customers or a lot of companies need to open up and start talking between departments a lot more, because I think that is the best way to build the company.
Yeah. That's great advice, is to open up those lines of communication. Just to accentuate, you were telling me, we had a conversation before, that it's not easy in an e-commerce company to tell the e-com group how to structure the website. It's not easy to tell the product group how to name products. You earned, that's the seat at the table, the voice of highest authority. And tell me a little bit about the partnership that you now have and that working relationship, because I think everybody that's listening here right now would love to have that kind of a relationship with their cross-department teams. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's starting slow, starting to build trust. That's what you need to do. And also show, when you come with an opinion or come with something, show also statistics, stuff like that. This is actually helping. Because that is the way that, at least for me, and when I've been working, okay, and now I can see what you mean. I can see this black and white. I can see the sales going up, or I can see you getting less tickets about this, or so on. For me, it has been starting low, building trust, and really try to show them what I know, what I do, because I'm best in what I'm doing. And I've been working a lot with customers. I've talked to customers for so many years and got so much knowledge about that. Because as we talked about the last time, customer service is the heart of a company, and we get all the feedback from the customers directly. And it's super important that all companies and all e-commerces knows that the customer service are the ones sitting on the goal. Basically, we know what the customer wants, what they don't want, and so on. So customer service also need to be sharing more and being out there, showing that I got this information. I got this directly from the customer. I want to show you what we can do with this information, and start that, building that trust. And also all companies needs to work more and be open more to listen into customer service. But that is harder in some companies. I know that's something, as I said, you have to build that trust and starting slow. So what we've done, we put up processes where we have meetings where different departments can talk about different subjects. And for example, when I started at the company I'm working now, I saw that we got a lot of questions about where is my order? Even if we had what I thought was a good way for customers to search where their order were basically, but we got a lot of these questions. So I said, okay, we need to build a site where they can search the order. We need to get this in the order. We need to work more with this because this is a question that we get a lot, that the customer can self-serve, like they can find the answer themselves. They don't have to contact customer service. Because for me, customer service should be working towards giving advice about the products, helping out, because that is increasing the sales. And when you talk to people in the company about this, everyone wants to hear that if we do this can increase the sales, because everyone wants the sales to go up. So when I say if we can build this, it gives my team more time to focus on giving advice, helping customer out, they will buy more, because statistics also show that a customer that has contact with customer service usually buys more product and are more loyal than the people that only go into site and shop. When telling them this, then they actually get interest. Okay, then we need to build this for you because this is going to help you be more available for the customer and also increase the sales.
So what you're doing there, which is fantastic, is you're being your own internal salesperson. You're understanding the audience, saying we're all here, we want to increase sales. If you let me do this, here's how I'm going to help you accomplish that. So you've got the perspective, you've got the larger perspective, like even board level perspective in terms of what we're supposed to be doing. But what I also love is that you have the perspective as an agent, that you were there at the agent, as an agent in gold that the agents represent. And there's big studies out there that just even contact center leaders need to have more trust in their agents, let alone the rest of the company. So I think that your background it's made you uniquely suited to understand the value that can be mined, the value that can be provided. And when you did some of that self-service, what did that do for the volume of tickets that were coming in?
So just in 1 month, we could see a decrease in 10% with like, where is my order? And that is something we see decreasing every month now because we have worked with that so much. And what we also have worked with a lot is our like FAQ. That's when I started. It wasn't that developed. And I see that as I talked, we want customer to, as much as possible, self-serve themselves with typical customer service questions. For example, where's my order, or how do I make a return, or what it can be, so that the agents can be there to actually give advice, increasing the sales and getting like helping the customers to find the right products, because that will make them the most happy. So we decided, I said, like, customer service have the best knowledge about what type of questions the customer asking, what they need help with. So I want my team to be the owner of the FAQ. It shouldn't be e-commerce, it should be customer service. So that is something we did. We took the ownership. We are the ones putting in all the articles, rewriting them, changing the information when we need, and really building this up. And we have really seen a decrease in this type of tickets since we started to build this one up, because we are talking in the way that how the customer wants that we should talk to them. We are writing in the way that so they understand, making it super clear for them. We have also worked with SEO teams to also use words that we know is good to have when customers searching to find the right articles and so on. So we have done a collaboration, but it is the customer service team that owns the FAQ, and we have built that up and done an amazing job. My team have done a really good job with this one, and we can really see that we are now able to be more on the chat, for example, helping out with product questions and so on, due to that we are the decrease in tickets.
What I love about that too is I can only imagine that if you and your team are actually writing the articles and the FAQs, you're going to be much more inclined to use them too. What you know you need.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just didn't want that point to get lost. So you're meeting the needs of the customers, the self-serve, you're spending more time with customers, the self-serve, they're able to help themselves, they're getting their answers quicker, the CSAT scores go up. I know a major initiative is tracking your Trustpilot ratings.
Yeah.
That's a major goal because that's going to also help sales. Help us a little bit about that we've been discussing here and how that's affected your Trustpilot rating.
We have worked a lot with getting our Trustpilot the rating up. And as I said, we have built up the FAQ. We have also find a new tone of voice that we want to use when talking to customers. Being more, usually I would say a lot of customer service teams only answering the questions the customer have when they get a ticket or a chat or so on. But what I wanted to do is to work more with open questions, being like, I'm here. Do you need any help? I would love to give you some more advice, or just check this product up because this one is one of my favorite and I think you will really like this. We of course help them with the questions they have, but we are trying to interact more with the customers and working more with that. I'm here. I can talk to you how long you want me to talk to you, basically. It's not a stress. It's not like something like that. We want to be there for the customer. We want them to feel like we are not stressed. We want to help them out. We want to guide them. And that is also something that really helps with the more sales customer wants. They're building trust, which make us a company that they want to buy from. Again, they talk to friends and family and telling they got really nice service here, giving us really good score on Trustpilot. So I think it's super important for a customer service team to, even if you have a lot to do, sometimes it's super stressed, a lot of errands coming in, so on, that you still feel like, now I'm with this customer and I'm going to focus 100% on this customer, because that is something that builds trust and giving you more happy customers.
And you've worked really hard to make sure that can happen. If you hadn't done those self-service initiatives, your team wouldn't have the time to be proactive. They would be more stressed. And I imagine there's some pretty important KPIs that are being affected in traditionally negative ways. If you're asking open-ended questions, your average handle time is probably going to suffer a little bit.
It's gonna, but that is something I talk so much with my team, because I know a lot of customer service team, you should have a really high number of one-touch tickets, basically. And I've said, you know what? I want this one to go down, because when this go down, usually the CSAT goes up. And that is something we really see. So I worked a lot with, don't end with just have a lovely day. Always end with, I'm here if you have any more questions. I would love to guide you through the products. Or we have also now started to put in, if you're happy with our service, we would love you to go in and rate us at Trustpilot. Talking more with customers about this, which also makes us getting back more. Thank you so much for the lovely answers. And they're coming back and say, oh, you know what? When you say that, I would love to have advice about this product or so on. And that is, of course, affecting our one touch, but it is also increasing our CSAT and our Trustpilot score. And that should be the most important thing in the company, having happy customers, even if you have to work a little longer on one ticket or a little longer with one customer. The results is a more happy customer, and that should be the focus.
And how does that impact agent satisfaction? You just mentioned CSAT, but as an agent, tell us, if I'm able to act as a consultant, I'm able to help, I'm able to not just troubleshoot problems all day, but I'm able to do something that makes me feel good and that I know that I'm actually helping the customer. How does that affect the agent satisfaction and then therefore the customer satisfaction?
I think a lot of teams with customer service have a problem that a lot of people don't stay that long working with customer service, because it is quite hard job. You get a lot of customers are angry. You get a lot of pressure on you with this type of stuff that can really low confidence in work. When I have done these changes and I really talk to my agents, I want you to open up. I want you to interact more with the customer, more questions, give your personal tips and work like this. My team has been more like, you know what, this is more fun. This is much more fun. And I feel that I'm evolving more in the way I work and making my team more happy, which is super important for me, because I want to build a team that actually thinks customer service can be happy, can be fun, like interacting with customers. Don't feel that they always just need to sit and talk about claims or stuff like that, like having customers that are disappointed, because when you're working like this, you're getting so much more happy customers coming back. And that is something that really increases the fun and building up the agents.
So I want to really stress that the importance of what you're saying here, because if they like what they're doing and they know that they're helping, we don't want to alienate. We want to help. At the same time, we want to be recognized for the fact that what I have to say can actually help the company overall. So I'm not just this agent that's there, that's a cost center where the board is constantly saying, how are we driving costs down? No, you're being recognized as somebody that's contributing to the success of the business. You're somebody that can actually make an impact and one customer at a time and actually have a good time doing it. I'm going to ask you a question, if you wouldn't mind answering it on a scale of 1 to 10. And it's about agents and it's about agent turnover. How important is agent turnover to the overall growth and vitality of the company. 1, it's not important at all. Agent turnover could care less. 10, it's actually vital. It's critical to the growth and the vitality of the company. Where would you put it on the scale of 1 to 10?
I would say it's a 10 for sure. I would say, yes, it's super important. I working as like responsible for the customer service team, but my team is the one that have all the knowledge. So they have to tell me this, but I'm also really working with them to speak out in the company. They don't have to go to me and I take it forward. They can speak out. They can say, I see this, or can we do this, or can we change this, or whatever it can be, because they are sitting with the customers every day. And even if people think that this is a small thing, it is a huge thing for my agents and it's super important today. It could be a word in order confirmation that we need to change because they see that we get a lot of tickets about this because customer doesn't understand what we mean. So they say, can we change it to this, or can we do this? And when they see also that the company actually taking actions on some days, listening to them, it's also something that really drives them. And they see that, okay, what I say also have impact. And I think it's super important that people that are responsible for the customer service team also let their agents speak out themselves to people in the company. They don't have to tell you and you take it forward. They can also speak out themselves. So it's super important. What do you think?
That's giving power. That's empowering agents. That's trusting agents, right? At levels that are not typical. We've talked about a lot of territory. If there was one thing that you wanted folks that are tuning into this podcast to take away, what would that be?
I would say stop looking so much at numbers that are like one touch and how many tickets your team is solving, and start focusing more on what are they writing, what is the context, and how are they talking with the customers, basically. Are they working with the sales? In every ticket you have, even if a customer asking about return, you can always say that, you know what, I would love to also help you, guide you through the products if you have any questions. You can always end with this one. Some customer comes back, some don't, but at least they have seen that you are there, you are caring about them, you are focusing on them, which make that maybe next time they are going to go into your site, they are like, no, I'm going to ask them about advice because I know that they want to help out. So I would say look at what the agents are writing and saying to the customers and less about the numbers.
Fantastic. Madelene, I have to thank you for coming on and sharing. And if it were appropriate, is it okay if we give out the link maybe to your LinkedIn profile, that if people had questions that they could reach out to you?
Yes, of course. I will love that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.